Wrote a movie called Room 9, which has horror icons. Kane Hodder from Friday the 13th, Michael Berryman, The Hills Have Eyes, Scout Taylor-Compton from all the Rob Zombie Halloweens. Film, chat, and hustle 101.
We're recording. You can always cut.
Yeah. Oh my God, you didn't tell me we're recording. Hold on. Okay, this one works, buddy.
Zoom. So as soon as you're on Zoom, we're immediately recording.
Okay, do I look all right, buddy?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, you can cut it, buddy.
So yeah, I'll just start from, wherever. All right. Film chat and hustle.
Hey, film chat and hustle. What's up, guys?
Rock and roll. So we're just fucking chatting, and talking about films and whatnot. So let's go immediately and jump into it. We'll get into introductions slowly but surely. Also want to see what people are interested in, all that after we start throwing stuff online. So where are you at and what are you up to right now, Tom?
I'm out in California, out in Los Angeles, and about to do a movie with you guys called Scream Bloody Murder with Jared Safier, Navid, Sean Phillips. It's has Robert LaSardo. He was in The Mule with Clint Eastwood, Scout Taylor-Compton from all Rob Zombie Halloween movies. She's also in our movie Room 9. Who else is in this? Jimmy Duval, who's been in a million things. We're bringing in some 80s big-time Hollywood players. I think they got Todd Bridges, Tom Sizemore. It's a really good kid. Kelly Ryder, Lauren Francesca. It's a really good cast. And we start shooting on Wednesday. I know you're going to be editing. Me and Jared on set producing. It's it's a hustle. It's a grind out here in Hollywood. You want to make money, you got to hustle. Film chat and hustle.
Yeah. So I want to dig deeper into that too. So yeah, we're both basically working on that project. And Tom and Jared are going to be doing the sales and distribution also at the end of it. So it's there's a lot of layers here, and mainly for the horror fans, I would say, and wanted kind of cater to our wonderful horror fans for a little bit. What is going on with the story, and what's going on? How did Sean decide to write or go about this story with Will, and what's the story behind that?
Yeah, so I met Sean through the horror world. So as everyone knows, I wrote a movie called Room 9, which has horror icons. Kane Hodder from Friday the 13th, Michael Berryman, The Hills Have Eyes, Scout Taylor-Compton from all the Rob Zombie Halloweens. So from that, I got a platform in the horror world, and then I brought in other actors and different people. You came on as a producer, editor. We got Jared Safier, Safier Entertainment, Mary Jane Bosecco from Clap It, and we just formed this network we had. But also, it was weird how it took off in the horror world. Just the horror world, even though it's not even out, the horror world even embraced it because everyone heard about it, and it just started to get a lot of legs, kind of like the Blair Witch. And Sean hit me up and he was like, "Oh, Tom, I'm a fan. He's a guy of the Room 9." And he's like, "You want to be a part of Scream Bloody Murder?" And then he's, told me Will Colazzo wrote it. I'm directing it. Sean's, it's his first time directing. So it kind of just really happened from one horror dude to another. Him asking me to come aboard the project, and they had Robert LaSardo already attached. And then we called up Scout, got her attached, and just a couple other cool names got involved. It's a smaller independent project, but there's a lot of big names, big companies, big actors involved because, if you hustle in this business, a lot of people want to work with you. I've been in this business 20 years. Jared's been in this business 20 years. So when you know a lot of people, it's just people respect your work and they want to work with you, whether it's on a big scale budget or small scale budget. Smaller scale budgets, you just got to really come together and, you know, you want to make more money, but hey man, for the love of film and cinema, people take take scale breaks, and who doesn't love making a movie, especially out here in beautiful California?
Yeah, a lot of sweat equity. Definitely. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Same as you, as like editing. You got your standard and your price what you want, and you took a deal to come in to produce with us, and you're a producing partner, and also and to do the editing. It's the same thing, man. Like you said, a little bit of, you get your money, and then you get your sweat equity.
Yeah, and it's kind of like one of those things where if you don't have the passion for it and you think it's just kind of a cool thing to do, I think after like probably, I don't know, 3 weeks in, you might start to be like, I don't know, maybe 6 months in, you're like, okay, this is not, how cool I thought it was, because there's too much freaking work.
You don't realize how hard of a work it is, and then even with this, like the one DP, he didn't want to shoot that much. He didn't want to do it. So we brought in, I called my buddy Johnny up from Habitual. Me and Jared did that movie, and we used his DP, and he gave us a phenomenal rate. I mean, he cut his rate in more than half for us, and he's flying from Boston to California to get this done. So, when you get, like you said, when you get a bunch of people in, that love film as much as we do, that's when you surround yourself with good people. This ain't for the faint of heart. The film business world. It's you have to adapt. You have to adapt, and it's all who you know. And it's a lot of sweat equity. It's because this is a tough business, very tough business.
Yeah, that's mostly what it is all who you know. You can be the most talented person on the planet, but if you don't know anybody or figure out how to get your work out, it's just going to be basically stuck in your, friends or your family members' living room or something, that's about it.
Yeah, and I called, they did a lot of independent casting, but then I even got Clap It, as everyone knows, Navid, Mary Jane Basecco is does she works with us. She's our producing partner, and she runs the CEO of Clap It. So we got her to give us some Clap It actors so we can help market their brand too, and be a part of the film. So very excited to be working with them again, and our producing partner Mary Jane, and I think four actors are coming in on that. I think 3 actors, 2 actors from the East Coast, and 2 actors already here in Los Angeles. So that's definitely going to be cool. And then we have I think we had actors flying in from all over, and then only like about 30% or maybe 40% are LA based. The rest are flying all in, and even them, as the actors, are flying in. Some of them are flying in on their own dime, because we were doing local hire, like California local hire, but they wanted to be in the movie, and they love and they got cast, so they actually fly in on their own dime, because it's another hustle. Acting is another hustle, just like filmmaking, bro.
Yeah, anything that has to do with art, technically, or you have you're creating something, and film is like, you got all these like artists that are collaborating together. It's a big networking kind of a community. If you're not tight in a community of filmmakers that know what the heck they're doing, you can't grow, you can't really get anywhere, your film doesn't get anywhere. And for me, like, horror isn't like one of the main things that I always want to focus on. I like a lot of sci-fi, fantasy, like suspense stuff, but horror is one of those genres that also does really well because of that tight community.
Oh yeah, horror, yeah. Yeah, well, you don't have, hey, horror has their own conventions. Where's the last time you went to like a comedy convention? I mean, these got like horror conventions. Like, man, I've been to them. I've been to in 2018. Kane Hodder invited me one before Room 9 and stuff, and he goes, "Hey Tom, check out this convention." It was crazy, man. There was like thousands of people in line, for his autograph, and there was tens of thousands of people at the convention. I mean, that thing's bringing in probably $1 million a show, man. So imagine you can bring it on a movie. How many people have reached out to me and said, like, we know you from the horror world? It's just like, it's crazy. It's like, It's absolutely nuts. It's like a whole nother animal, dude.
Yeah, and that's what I like about that. It's a really nice, tight community. It's very niche, and it's a cult thing. Kind of you have a lot of cult classics in the in that genre, and I think we technically kind of worked on one, and hopefully it's like in my opinion at least, not that's not like it's already out there or whatever. So wanted to get into before we get into room 9, wanted to also like discuss like possibly what's going on this week and what you could as far as like interviews goes, who can you be talking to and what can we be looking forward to for the fans.
Oh, for what, Scream Buddy Murder?
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we can get some interviews while we're on set. That's what I was hoping. I know it's going to be it's a tight window. We're only shooting, it's a very small shoot window. I'm not gonna, very small, but hopefully we can get some things going on some downtime on some set. We have a cool cast, and we'll just have to see. I know the cast has to really focus on their lines, and some of these people are in and out in a day. Like I know Scout we have for like 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours. She's coming in. LaSardo's coming in, giving us like a 14-hour day. We might even bring in Tom Sizemore. I think Lauren Francesca will be here for the week. Kelly Ryder 4 days. Who else we got? There's Todd Bridges. But there's a lot of people doing cameos. Like even people from the horror world that I don't know too much that Sean does. Like from like the 80s, like horror icons that are supposed to be coming in. I forget. One was a writer. He wrote a really big horror movie, like in the Adam Rifkin. I don't know who this you know who that is? He's like a writer. He wrote something like wrote a cult classic or something. So yeah, he's supposed to be coming in. Yeah, there's a lot of people doing cool cameos. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it unfolds too.
Yeah, it'll be cool to just kind of see like in the day of, of like a 7-day production, because like I don't know a whole lot of non-filmmakers that know you can shoot a movie in 7 days, but it's kind of like pulling teeth without the right tools almost, right?
I mean,
You're going to get it done, but it's just, it's going to be intense and only certain kind of people can pull that off for sure.
Yeah, I mean, usually, even this 15-day shoot is intense, and we're pulling off a 7-day shoot. I mean, this morning's the first time I got sleep, buddy, in 4 or 5 days. I mean, doing 12, 14-hour days on the phone, how we're doing scheduling and getting day to days ready, getting, you with the editing and helping out everyone. I mean, there's like, it's like what I like to say. It's like a fucked up, dysfunctional family of 5 brothers and sisters trying to get together and do a task.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so
that's what it's like.
Yeah, what we'll do is like record a little bit, on the side, like myself, yourself, like when you're on set, especially just to kind of like, see the struggles, see the fun parts, and just, if there's like time briefly, like we'll like see what the actors are thinking, what the DP is thinking, kind of like get into the mindset of like what it is like to be on a
independent film set.
real independent hustling set. Yeah
that's what it all is. It's all hustling. Yeah, exactly. It's I think this is like a 8-person crew. I mean, it's a solid crew. I know that. I'm confident about the crew. Everyone has a ton of experience. Like from the sound guys to the DP, he's done a lot of stuff to the producers, and it's just we'll see. I wish there was a couple more hands. There's a couple PAs. It's definitely going to be a hustle. Definitely going to be a hustle, my man.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, like back in the day when my dog was younger, like it would have been easier for me to come out too. But now I have an older dog and he barely can get up a step, like he sometimes falls on his ass. So like it's kind of tough for me to go around and I have to like, figure out a place for him. So that's another thing, like you kind of have to figure out, where you're at, what are the risks, what are the, pros and cons. Sometimes you have to give or take, so we're all trying to figure that part out a lot. And then right after this, we're also shooting another horror, but can't really talk about that much until we get some releases going.
Yeah. Definitely
Cool,
soon.
man. Yeah. So, and also wanted to obviously get into introductions a little bit. I kind of wanted to go backwards because it's nice to just kind of get into it, before you start talking about yourself for the most part. And I'm hoping to get some questions as much as possible to start answering those as we're going along, because it's just like, figuring out what people are interested in and what they want to hear about
Yeah.
filmmaking, and the actors, the producers, everybody.
Yeah.
So where's Field of Dreams coming from, and what's the story of Field of Dreams?
Oh, my backstory, So yeah, I've been doing it in the film world for a long time, probably 20 years. And started off as an actor. I was actually started off as a theatrical actor. I did a lot of theater. Um, and it doesn't look like, looking at me, I'm a big guy, about 6 foot, 212 pounds, and loaded with tattoos. And I just got sick of being typecasted. So from acting, I don't know, maybe like 13 years ago, I went into producing and writing. And a lot of people said, things can't be done. And I like to prove people wrong. I'm a high school dropout. And I wrote my first script. Uh, and my second script went to a major studio. And then the third and fourth script went to ICM, uh, which is like one of the biggest companies in Hollywood. And just from there, I wanted to start a company. So I incorporated a couple companies, Field of Dreams Films, for the love of my where I was born and raised, Philadelphia. And then from there, I just, I went on and recently became vice president of Safier Entertainment. One of my best friend, Jared Safier, he sold, has done over 150 movies, 4-time Emmy winner. And me and him just had a wonderful relationship as friends and then producing partners. And he, wanted to utilize my talents. So maybe a part of his company, kind of like what me and you did with everything, but step by step, and coming on board with me and working with me, and then introducing me to Jared, and then you working with Jared, and then introducing me to Mary Jane and working with us, and kind of just became a tandem of a team.
Yeah, buddy. Love it. Yeah, that's cool.
What about you, buddy? Can you give yourself a brief introduction to our listeners, please?
Yeah, so I've pretty much, in a subconscious way, loved filmmaking, since I was 13. I started playing around with editing on Betamax and a Pioneer cassette player, making music videos and just kind of recording random pictures from the TV, and then recording the audio separately from the cassette player, and then just making a music video out of just random clips. And nobody really thought of it or anything. And I also went to a Photoshop class when I was 13, and
Wow.
I did pretty good in Photoshop. And then the next class was going to be Adobe Premiere, but I was basically like, in my family, there was not much of a belief in how art is going to make you money kind of thing, or how filmmaking is, for other people that are filmmakers and not a part of our family, because we're not filmmakers. It was like kind of like embedded in my brain for a long time. So I just felt like, I'm basically just gonna like play around and just learn a little bit about the process until I was 23 years old, and my cousin and I at the same time got really involved about storytelling and spirituality, and about the journey, and about what our goals are in life, and how does that relate to filmmaking, and how we see ourselves on the screen. So I thought about that, at least we got that part of it, down a little bit. To me, that's a good goal to have, and that's a good passion to have. And let me just figure out the rest, you
Yeah.
know? And I didn't even think about grabbing a camera and start shooting anything until I went to film school. I was just kind of helping out other people until then. And when I went to film school, I finally thought about making the company step-by-step pictures, and I had discussed that with my cousin, and he thought it was a great idea, and he might have, he wanted to join it as well. So I, kind of tested myself in film school a little bit, and it's honestly one of the craziest journeys, I would say, because it's been an evolvement of how believing in what you're doing has everything to do with the result of it. So if you don't believe in what you're doing, and if you're not going out there and getting it done and networking,
Yeah. Oh my God.
you can't expect anything to happen.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, film school will teach you the basics and everything like that. Everyone always asks me that. I've done a million podcasts, and and I do a lot of podcasts for younger filmmakers. I just did one. The first thing they ask me is, Tom, do you have to do film school? And I say, no. I mean, film school helps and teaches you the basics, but a lot of it is just on set learning. Like, I've been on a billion sets, and through trial and sorry, that was actually the DP, Screen Buddy Murder calling me. I'll have to call him back.
Cool.
I've been on a million film sets, and it's from learning. And for me, it was an actor, and I realized, I had this weird talent of writing and telling stories, and then when the studio started picking them up, and I was like, wow, I got a really good talent. And then from that, it went from like behind the scenes in front of the scenes, and then I just realized more how much I loved filmmaking from behind the scenes. And the same thing, it's like meeting you too. When you reached out years ago to me about things, and me and you became best friends. It's like the same thing. It's networking and really knowing. That's the always thing like I was always good at, like growing up, knowing people and knowing big people, and especially in the film world, just always having like huge connects to vouch for me. That's how I cemented my door in the film world. It's not even cement. I kicked it the fuck in. So that's what it's all about, dude. Surround yourself with good people, hustlers like us, man. People that this is their life. I mean, film's my life, and it saved my life. It saved me from a life of alcoholism and a lot of. That's another story, but yeah, film's my life, buddy. Just like I know film's your life.
Yeah, exactly. And what our
film, chat, and hustle.
Yeah, what our goal is, like, really want to bring on other filmmakers, other talents, other people, to interview them and talk with them, get their life story,
oh my God, yeah.
So there's a lot of people that, between us, especially Tom and Jared, that would love to bring on and kind of, get into details and get some juicy stuff that nobody's really heard, about, and get to learn, figure out how, if you're a filmmaker or you're not, it's kind of interesting. I think it's a behind the scenes kind of thing. You're learning about the process.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's our goal with this thing, to bring in people to tell them their journey, from actors to other filmmakers to, like everyone, like casting directors, producers, the camera DPs, the reality stars. I mean, bringing people that were famous who fell and now they're getting their second back and chances. It's all a hustle. I mean, I've known people, I've known plenty of people that were once A-listers and they fell, demons caught up with them and they dropped down to like a C-list, whatever that cliche Hollywood term. And then now they're in their back, their way back up. So, I mean, it's a hustle. That's what life is. So that's our goal with this podcast, is to show everyone that, first of all, how hard this thing is. Like Hollywood and not even Hollywood, film. It's tough as fuck. So our goal with this is to show everyone our journey, and so you can be prepared for your journey. Because a lot of filmmakers go, oh man, I wonder if I could see the day in the life of a filmmaker. Well, here's your chance with this show. Here's your chance to see a day in the life of a filmmaker and to see it's not all roses. It is a lot of bullshit, and it's a lot of sleepless nights. It's a lot of anxiety, and at the end of it, when the film's made, that's when you hug and you're like, oh my God, how the fuck did we pull this thing off?
Yeah. I mean, especially at mega independent projects.
Yeah, yeah. Like, how do we pull this thing off? Holy shit! And on top of that, oh, how do we get studio deals? It's just, it's for A, it's God, and B, it's your talent, and C, it's just a lot of it. Right place, right time, and that's just life, man. Film, chat, and hustle 101.
Yeah, buddy. Love
Yeah,
it.
buddy.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, I want to conclude the, pilot here. It's definitely a fun one. And I think, it'll be good to just kind of like figure out what's going on in the week and whatever you can, shoot. And then we'll come back in a couple of weeks. We're trying to do this bi-weekly. So
Yeah, every couple of weeks. Just to show you guys, right? Just to show you guys. There you go. There's another one. Just to show you guys, I'm just being on this podcast with Navid. The phone's rang a bunch of times. The DP's already called me. So this is what happens. I mean, I don't know why he called. Maybe he's flying in from Boston on Tuesday. So it's what it is. You want to be a producer, you want to be a filmmaker, have your phone, attach your hip, be ready for sleepless nights, 20 hours a day, and be ready to solve problems, and not only technically, but just everything. This is it. This is film life and chat. This is film, chat, and hustle 101. Holla at your boy.
Film, chat, and hustle.
Film, chat, and hustle with Tom and Navid, T Dubs. Yes, sir.